No, it doesn't. My guess would be 33, but I don't know if that's actually right.
Okay.
But we'll just have to wait and see. I know Jace did fill me in. He said he did 15 laps one night and then 17 another, but then I don't know how many there was actually in total because he never did a full 50% around here. So
that's all right. I'm just going to wait till we are officially live, and then we're going to get this underway. I didn't change that thumbnail from last week, buggered. Hi everyone, that's from James Barton, whose PSN I can never remember.
Compact, Jimbo.
Compact, and Robbie Peterson. Alright, so 720. I reckon 801, do you reckon we can go now?
801, I'd say so. There's...
Yep, I reckon.
The majority of them are ready up, so
yep.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching right around the world. It's that time of the week once again, and it's time for round 4 of this SRL F1 2019 Championship season. And here we are at the beautiful Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Canada. Montreal in Canada plays host to this race this evening, as we've got 16 drivers now in the lobby ready to go racing. Like I said, round 4 of this championship tonight at Canada. Very challenging circuit, one that can be pretty harsh when it comes to corner cutting penalties, and I do believe that we have strict corner cutting penalties on tonight, as I welcome my co-commentator Bradley Marshall back for another week. Brad, good evening to you.
Yeah, it's good to be back for another week here in Canada, and like we said, corner cutting heaven here. That last chicane, Wall of Champions, could cause a lot of drama, so we'll see if anyone lands there tonight, but should be an interesting Grand Prix tonight.
Certainly should be the Wall of Champions. This circuit has been on the calendar for a number of years, and boy, we've got everybody tuning in on the live stream tonight. James Barton, Compact says hi everybody. BBC says Robbie Pearson. I haven't forgot about you, Robbie. His birthday tomorrow, and what a celebration that will be across the border in South Australia. BK11 says up the BK. Just talking about himself there, Brad. Nothing wrong with that. If you don't push your own wheelbarrow, who will? And DRC Jared, the man who, as we know, likes to take the piss. And BK Shags Kittens, not too sure whether we can say that. Sam the man. Grinner, a guy who I've never heard of, but welcome to the stream. Harry Ryan, BK Super Crunch, they're all ready to go, and I think we are as well, as we're just getting ready to go racing here. We're getting ready in the lobby, Brad, and we're about to do it all over again for another week.
Yeah, about to do it all over again for another week here, and we've got the man that takes the piss back again, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone can take the fight to him this week. Otherwise, it may just be a fight for who finishes second place, and may not be what viewers want to see. But I mean, DRC Jared just literally takes the piss when it comes to these races. But hopefully, we see some nice, intense racing and see respect between drivers tonight.
Yes, that's what we want to see. 18 people on the live stream at the moment, including the great man Alan Shep, who celebrated his birthday last week. His 31st birthday last week for Big Shep down there, once again at the Beach Hut Brewery in Scoresby, Victoria, our title sponsor here on the SRL F1 season 2019 style. And don't forget, if you want to be a part of this exciting action as we get ready to go qualifying here tonight, join us on www.supremeracingleague.com, PC, Xbox One, PS4. We're on the PS4 tonight, so very exciting stuff. Close racing, fair racing, Brad, and it's your chance to get amongst the action. As Mozza says, guess who? Guess who's back? Back again. Mozza's back. Tell a friend. Here we go, making the stream great as usual, Brad. Sam as well, and boy, these are record numbers watching this stream tonight, and I cannot wait to get into it.
Yeah, neither can I. It's going to be interesting to see who will take out pole, because we're actually going to see who is the fastest out of all these drivers, because I don't think there will be a split in strategy tonight. The quickest way to get to the end is your soft and 2 mediums afterwards. So anyone that chances their arm on a start on a medium to a hard, I don't think it's going to fare as great as you think it would.
And like we said about the corner cutting as well, Bradley, that is going to be very, very important as we see. Looks to be an Alfa Romeo coming out on track. Indeed it is. It is Sam Cham 10. The F1 Banter Facebook page man comes out on track. The first driver out on track on his outlap in this qualifying session. 18-minute qualifying session. If you're new to league racing or indeed Formula One, welcome to you. 18-minute qualifying session followed by a 50% race to take place here tonight, rather than the usual 100% race which we see in real life F1, because that would we all want to go home to our families, of course, so that'll be far too long. So a 50% race, and as we see that beautiful looking Alfa Romeo out on track, and this circuit 12, 13, 14 corners in fact, everything from the Wall of Champions, the Casino Straight, and not just for corner cutting purposes, but a very hard track to get right, as we can see. Sam struggling already, Brad.
Yeah, struggling big time into the hairpin there. He was warming up the tyres, so maybe he just put the gas down a little too quick, and it's gone wrong for him as he's lost a bit of the end plate, so he's going to have to pit and come back out on another set of soft tyres. So that's unfortunate for him, and he'll learn from that, and he'll regroup, and hopefully he sets a competitive lap time. And
there may have been some innocent brake marker boards there copying it too, Brad. He nearly come a cropper in the pit lane as well. But he's managed to make it back into the pits as we keep scrolling through this order. V8 man Danielson, as you can see there, possibly starting his hot lap. He looks to be very on it, doesn't he? You could see there, braking late into turn 1 through turn 2. Got a good exit there in the number 43 Mercedes-Benz car. We're right on board with him. And, a slight touch on the wall, Brad. Is that going to affect his first run here in qualifying tonight?
It may very well affect him, as he hit the wall and lost a part of his end plate as well. So that may very well affect the rest of this lap, as I believe that he's still on his lap. For some reason, the camera angle wasn't showing him for me, so I'll just jump on board. But he's backed off from his lap, I'm pretty sure. Because he's got a Williams coming up behind him.
Yes, indeed he does. And speaking of the Williams, we're riding on board now with Kart Dude, everybody's favourite Taswegian. Look at that commitment there. Beautiful onboard shot there over his right shoulder through turns 8 and 9. And has something happened, Brad?
Yes, Danielson hit the wall. Okay, we've had... Right, maybe there's been complaints of lag because people have left.
And they are dropping like flies, Bradley. Jason gone, Nemo gone. A couple of others went. I think Danielson went there as well. We're still seeing cars out on track at the moment, so stick with us. But we are seeing a few drivers at the moment just dropping out of the session. Sam has left as well. And we've got some comments coming through. We've got the weather report now. Dry quali race, wet at the end with some light rain. And indeed, it's just been confirmed from our man Wilco, Brad, that we are starting a brand new lobby.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting to hear. It didn't look too bad host-wise, but that's interesting to hear that we're restarting the lobby.
So while we wait for an invite, we'll just stick with this lap. On board with the sexy Rob Dog 1996 in the Red Bull. They're locking a break at the hairpin. And there we go. And Sam just saying, mate, I'm a big Instagram dude, not Facebook anymore. That's old news, Trev. So Sam up and about on Instagram. And good to see you, Rafa, joining the stream tonight. And Big Alan Shep says, Trev, could you please give us a Sam Newman impression? Well, good God, Alan, this is a special message for everybody down there at the Beach Hut Brewery in Scoresby, Victoria. I know you're watching, Shane. Just stick with it, mate, because, Shep, you're a top bloke, you're a fantastic man, and just don't forget to keep watching the stream. There you go, Alan Shep. That was a terrible Sam Newman impression, as we've got the latest invite. So I've got to give you all the blue screen of death, which we know that they hate very, very much. As now we are just joining, and we've got a disconnect code now at the moment. I do apologise for that blue screen of death as we just get this lobby restarted, Bradley, and we hopefully can get back on track tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back on track. It's reminding me of China, how we had a bit of an off-script start there, but hopefully this one won't be as long, and we'll get this up and running, and we can get away with qualifying.
And you know what? Oh, go ahead. No, Team Radio, Brad, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it was interesting to know that we were restarting the session. I didn't really see much lag there, but maybe the drivers were complaining of that. So
I wasn't seeing too. I do agree with you there, Brad. I wasn't seeing too many issues myself. Certainly not on my screen. I'm not too sure about everybody else, but we could have had some alien activity. You never know, as Rafa says. Classic Codemasters. And the big Instagram, YouTube boys, they're just getting amongst it. Harry, Ryan and Sam. BK saying, lobby restart. Jared disconnected before quali began and didn't get an invite back. I'm not too sure whether that's such a bad thing. We might have seen a closer race. But just kidding, Jared. We love you, brother. And hopefully, I say hopefully with fingers crossed, we can get back into this one. Don't forget, while we're waiting, get your song requests in. Maybe some impressions as well, although I'm not quite up to date with the impressions. But I hope you liked that out there, Shep, who was after a Sam Newman impression, of course, the footy show last night. Great to see the old team back together. Sam, Trev and Eddie. Anyone outside of Victoria is probably thinking, what on earth is he talking about? But Jared's PS4 is absolutely taking the piss. Oh, gee whiz! Have a guess who it is, Brad? It's New Zealand Ryan. We haven't seen him since China, so it's great to have you on board. And you'll be pretty pissed off, eh? Because you've just come in at the exact wrong moment. Oh, come on, cuz. And there we go. So, geez, I'm not too sure where I was going with that, Brad, as we wait for all the drivers to ready up in this new lobby. The tension is killing me, Brad. When are we going to go racing tonight?
Exactly. When are we going to go racing? By the way, you may want to switch to spectator at the moment as well, because you're not there. So we might just want to get that ball rolling.
Yes.
Yeah, so now we've got you as a spectator, so it'll be all good. But so there's the reason for why we had to restart the session then. DRC Jared's PlayStation taking the piss. And I got to say, it's unfortunate for these other drivers, because that would have spiced the race up a bit more. Potentially not knowing who could have won the race. So.
Yes, and will we get the same weather? I'm guessing. I'm not too sure. We'll have to check with our good mate Wilco at some stage. But, boy, just keep it nice and clean in the chat, fellas. I'm getting the show and hide message, which means that something is a little bit naughty in there, though. As Sam asking New Zealand Ryan his thoughts on Tiet Met Marduk. Rafa saying, chores. DRC Jared and apologising there in the lobby. New Zealand Ryan saying he abandoned his homeland. And, yeah, good to see you. I don't mind him as a YouTuber, good old Benny boy. I think he's getting close to 400,000 subscribers, Brad. So that's a pretty good effort, isn't it? He's almost catching me, isn't he, on Trevor Byers Cricket? I think I'm getting close to 800. But anyway, hang in there and hang in with us in this stream tonight, because we're finally going to see some on-track action eventually. Like we said, 18-minute qualifying session. So just a bit of an extra practice session, Brad, you might say, for the drivers tonight before the real deal.
Yeah, well, this is where they can collect a little bit more data and everything like that. And it's important during the week to get your practice in. And unfortunately, last night I had an incident where one of the drivers had spun and then continued to block me while I was on a lap, and saw no problem in that because I was a commentator and not a racer. I have to collect data to know what to talk about when I commentate. So I thought that was quite rude. I eventually got reported for calling him a flog once he had no bar for it. And I contacted PlayStation and told them the full story, and glad to say that they listened to what actually happened and justice prevailed. So drivers, please respect other people on the track. If you spin, get out of the way of a driver and abandon your lap. Just respect one another on the track. That's all I want to see. And if I don't see you doing that, I will call you out on it, because I stand up for what I believe in. and that is fair, respectful racing.
Well said, Bradley, and I couldn't agree more. We all like to have fun, and we all want to do it, fairly and in the right way. As now we're seeing, we'll have another go at this. Take two now, as we see the drivers now not mucking around. Everyone wanting to get out on the track. It always seems to be those guys at the end of the pit lane who come out. Now Sam has got a chance to redeem himself here, Bradley, and have another go at this. As Wilco's got the latest weather report brought to you by Jason Wilkinson. He says a dry quali, heavy rain for the first bit of the race, and then 20 minutes in, it goes to dry, then to light rain. So that is going to make the strategy all that more spicy tonight, Bradley. Very important. Do you put the harder tyre on and go for longer and hope for that rain before you switch to inters? Or will you lose too much time and need to make an extra pit stop? It's interesting, and once again, every season, it's all about the strategy and what's happening here. I'm just riding on board with Sam at the moment, and
he had cut the last chicane by only the littlest margin and decided to reverse back on the track again into the pit lane, and has received a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Danielson.
Unbelievable stuff. You saw it here first. Bradley spotting it. Well spotted there. Race Control has given Sam a 5-place grid penalty after a collision with Danielson. That's right. And it doesn't matter how many Instagram followers you've got, Brad. That is not good for your race tonight.
No, it definitely isn't. So wherever he finishes tonight, he's going to have 5 place added to that. And with heavy rain at the start of the race and then drying out and then going back to rain, it's going to make his race even harder. But boy, am I excited for a race to start with heavy rain, dry out, and then go back to rain. We've had back-to-back weeks of rain, and I've got to say, I like some wet racing.
I love the wet weather. I couldn't agree more. As New Zealand Ryan and Rafa and Sam, a lot of F words, a lot of great. I'll tell you what, we've got to rearrange the great Australian saying off and the F word. We won't say that. It's very naughty though. You're right there, Rafa. And and Big Shep says a very big thank you, Trevor, for that. Went to the Footy Show grand final last night. It was sensational. I used to work on that show in a previous live, Shep, so you'll be interested to know that. Sam Newman is a great bloke, despite what everyone says. But we're looking now at the Mercedes, coming back to 2019, and we're riding now with the Mercedes, and there seems to be a lot of traffic there. As Harry's hit that wall again, not the wall of champions, but still a wall nevertheless. As V8 man now on starting his hot lap, although he looks to be travelling fairly slowly into turn 1. We'll keep flicking through the rest of the order. The second Mercedes then of Danielson riding behind Cart Dude. So we've got about half a dozen drivers, Brad, looking to start their first hot laps tonight as we welcome a new Haas driver, Dregler. He's gone off now. So Dregler, not a good start for his Haas career. And as we look at Rob Dog, 1996, he seems to be on a hot lap here. Rob Dog, the birthday boy tomorrow, comes across the line and does not set a time. I think he might be starting his hot lap at the moment, but he's going to have some issues when it comes to traffic here, Brad.
He definitely will, and I believe that he is starting his lap, as it says that he's 1 lap on the top tyre, so he's putting up some traffic here. BK should get out of the way, except this is a difficult spot to get out of the way, so Rob Dog will not be liking that. Harry Ryan had to abort his lap. I believe he lost a part of his end plate, so he decided to abort the lap. He smacked the wall quite hard, but we're on board with Rob Dog, and he's going down into... Hold on, just to interrupt for a second. Big Dog Jono has just been given a 5-place grid penalty as well for contact with Dregler. So that's 2 drivers that now have 5 grid penalties.
Unbelievable. The second man to get a 5-place grid penalty tonight. They've all been naughty boys, Rafa, who says one day I shall race on the PS4 again. Ah, yes, that will be great to see, as you were very quick, weren't you, as Rob Dog goes across the line, and my goodness me, just missing out on that first row of the grid with a 109.484. He's looking extremely good in that first run, Brad, and that was a sexy lap there from Rob.
It definitely was, and as this session progresses, these drivers are going to pick up more time as well. So leaving your lap until the very last second is probably the best time you're going to get a lap out, as the track will increase in grip because everyone else is laying down the grip for you. So pretty tight at the top. We've got BK in front by about 2 tenths, and then it's only 300 of a second between Cart Dude and Rob Dog. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of the session. But DRC Jared coming out on the hard tyres. Maybe he's collecting a bit of data for the race if he wants to jump onto those hard tyres for the middle stint while it's not raining. But interesting. He will probably jump onto those soft tyres for a lap, and I expect him to go to the top of the leaderboard, to be honest.
Yes, I reckon that's always a bad sign, seeing DRC Jared on the hard tyres. He is the only no, actually, I was about to say Dregler also has hard tyres, but now he's switched to the soft tyres, as BK has provisional pole position. And Mitchie 950 says this is definitely the naughty Grand Prix. Sure is, as we see Sam Cham come across the line. What's his time going to be? And it's good enough for a 109.779 and 5th place on the grid between Jason and Big Donga. As Julian says, yo, I think that's our beloved King Julian. As New Zealand Ryan says, pause the game. We're talking about fixing the engine sound. And if that doesn't work, then probably a restart, eh? And Rafa says the Wooden Spoon Grand Prix. BK is amongst it as well. DRC Jared, will I still have my setup? They're just talking amongst themselves, aren't they, in the live stream? But it's fantastic to have everybody commenting on the stream tonight. We've got a dozen or so people watching. 10 minutes. We had a false start for anyone watching, just joining us on the live stream. We did have a false start in the opening little session of this race tonight, and then we had to restart a new lobby as we ride on board with Big Dick Johnson. Beg your pardon, Big Donga. God, I get those two mixed up as Harry goes to the top of the timesheets there. Brad with a 109 flat. Will we see anybody in the 108s tonight?
I believe it is possible to hit a 108. I believe Bailey Kennedy earlier in the week did say that a 108 is possible around here, so the times are ramping up, 1090, so I wouldn't put it past someone getting into that 108. I'm on board with Nemo, hashtag Nemo Nation, let's get that trending, as DRC Jared has left the session. Surely we are not going to abort this again. Surely not.
Well, I'm not. I don't know about anybody else, but I reckon second crack at it. If you can't get it right, we'll wait and see what happens as Nemo comes across the line to start a hot lap potentially. We might just check the rule book, but invite please, fellas. So maybe, Brad, maybe, and it's a big maybe, if DRC Jared can get another invite, he might be able to join back. Is that how it works, or does he have to maybe restart and go all over again?
No, I believe he should be able to get back in, as we see him doing right now, and I tell you what, I am thankful for that, because I don't know if we could have restarted that session. It might have been digging into, some people's bedtimes, they may sleep early. But, just on board with Nemo, hopefully he's able to finish this lap out, and we'll see where that puts him. Interesting enough, he has a new wheel. He's got a Fenatech, so we'll just see where this puts him. He said that was the reason for why he had a crash last week in Spain, as Dregler's just put in a 108.6. Okay, the times have really fallen now.
Here we go, Nemo, a 108.6. At least Nemo knows what he needs to beat as he comes across the line. It's only good enough. It's a 1:10.0, and it's outside the top 10. So Williams will not be happy with that. Is anybody else on a hot lap there? It's Danielson getting out of the way. Here's Compact. And what's he done? A 111.5, so only good enough for 14th on the grid. But we like to take a look at the drivers lower down the order, Brad. We like to keep everybody involved on this live stream. And for our beloved regulars out there and our viewers, our long-time viewers, big hello to you. 7.5 minutes remaining in this session now at the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, host of the Canadian Grand Prix for a long, long time. I'm not exactly sure what year, but it'd have to be late 70s, early 80s, even before I was born, so that's how old it is. As a bit over 7 minutes now remaining in this session as Compact now comes down the back straight, the Casino Straight, heading towards turns 13 and 14 and the infamous Wall of Champions. As here he comes now through the last couple of corners. You've got to get it so right. Steer clear of the Wall of Champions on the right. Up to 7th gear, 8th gear, 300 kilometres an hour. And I don't think he's slightly improved, Brad, by a couple of tenths on that time, but not good enough to climb him out of 14th on the grid.
Yeah, definitely not. And another breaking news, the Hef has been handed a 5-place grid penalty as well. So that is 3 drivers who have just gotten themselves penalties in this session. And I've got to say, that is the first time we've had that happen. 3 drivers with grid penalties. Unfortunate for Hef because he's been the cleanest driver out of the past 3 weeks. So, unfortunate for him.
It's a shame, isn't it? I believe Hef has been pretty good when it comes to those corner cuts and penalties. We mentioned the tyre compounds tonight. The softs will last 8 to 10 laps. The mediums should last 13 to 15 laps, but will be 4 tenths slower than the softs. And the hards, of course, Bradley, 18 to 20 laps, but they'll be nearly 2 seconds per lap slower than the fastest tyre. 2-stop race, like we said. A 1-stop isn't possible due to the high tyre wear here. And the hard tyres also, like we said, being very, very slow. And the rear tyres can cop a beating around this track as well, can't they? It's very harsh on the rear tyres.
It definitely is very hard on the rear tyres here, especially in that hairpin corner. You can lose the rear end so easily there. And some people have even dropped it on the curb out of the Wall of Champions just because the rear tyres simply lose traction and it sends them around. So it'll be interesting to see if that catches out anyone in the race. Hopefully these guys are able to manage those tyres. And I got to say, with the rain, it'll be interesting to see if the Wall of Champions will catch anyone out with that rain. As I see that Wilco is now coming out of the pits on his outlap, so we should see what time he's able to put in.
As Sam has retired. There we go. Super Crunch saying, Wilco, get your shit together, mate. BK11 saying, go Big Donger. And it's been a while since we've been able to sing the famous Big Donger song, of course. Keep your eyes open for a dive bomb. Big Donger.
Oh, damn it. I messed up the line.
You messed up the line. We were working beautifully until then. But I'll tell you one thing, Brad, and for everybody watching at home, we are getting to the business end of this qualifying session now. I can tell you that. A bit over 4 minutes left as V8 man backs off in the McLaren. What is everybody else doing? Compact coming back out on track. DRC Jared is back again. And tell a friend, because this is going to be a sexy lap. I can sense a sexy lap. That was a sexy lap. Thanks, guys. Sexy lap. And as soon as I say that, he's just come straight into the pit lane. But he is on the medium tyres. So like you said, Brad, before, he might be just collecting some data. But he'll want to get a quick lap in there. He's only sitting on a 112.2. But he's an extremely confident young man. And he probably thinks he can go from 16th to 1st. The last to first challenge, maybe. Maybe that's what he's going to do tonight.
Quite possibly. I mean, if he was able to pull that off, that would be taking the piss to the next level. On board with Rob, doing his lap at the moment. He's had a few moments here or there. I don't think that he will be able to improve on his lap. Not sure if he has enough fuel in the car to go for another run, but we'll just wait and see. Earlier on, I believe he did go a bit quicker, so hopefully he's got a bit more fuel on board, so he's able to have another go at a lap.
We shall see. Here comes Rob Dog 1996, the man who I believe is turning 23 or 24 tomorrow. Yes, either one of the two. He's straight in the pits. I tell you what, everyone I follow goes into the pits, but I think from memory that Dregler is on a hot lap. He's just 2 tenths. He's 2 tenths off this sector. Not a personal best for him in Sector 2. And Mozza getting up and about on the comments. I told you, keep it clean, Mozza, because I've got to approve these comments as Harry Ryan retires from the session. So they're all starting to leave with 2.5 minutes to go. I tell you what, we almost might get some rain at the end of this session, Brad. It's getting very dark out there. The clouds are starting to gather as we ride on board with BK, who's on an out lap. Somebody's got to be on a hot lap. What's going on here? Are they just getting themselves all set up for one final run? Here he is, our man Wilco, the number 19 Ferrari. What can he do tonight? He's had a pretty ordinary start to the season, Brad, which is unlike our man Wilco.
It is unlike him, but unfortunately for him, majority of the time it hasn't been at his own fault. So we'll see where he's able to qualify today. Hopefully qualifying up front, so he's not in that mid-pack battle, as I believe he's gotten a corner cut and pulled out of this lap. So I don't know if these guys have more fuel to get another lap out. We'll have to wait and see. As on the back straight, it was very close between Dregler and Jason for wanting to start a lap. So these guys are actually quite closely packed on this track, which, to be honest, surprises me.
Yes, as we see the Toro Rosso coming across the line. Fubbles there, starting a hot lap. V8 man. We saw the two McLarens almost next to each other there as Danielson, currently in P14. What can he do? Can he get himself into the top 10 in the final minute of this session? Here he comes across the line, and no, a 1:10.6 as we take a look. We'll take a quick look at the championship at the moment. Very close at the top. Harry Ryan, of course, leading BK, 54 points to 51. And then it's Cart Dude in third. We won't trouble you with the rest of these numbers, but traffic is going to be an issue here. We've still got 10 or so drivers left in the session as Cart Dude now, the man I mentioned a moment ago, has retired from the session. Here comes Compact now across the line. It's a 1:10.9 as DRC Jarrett, they're changing at the top. Big Donger there, also getting into the 108s, 108.9, still a few tenths shy of Dregler. What a performance by Dregler, Brad. He's just come in as a reserve and he's jumped into the Haas. We saw him go off at the start of the session, but now he's put it on pole position, potentially, if some of these other blokes can't beat him.
Yeah, he's gone and put it on pole, and I've got to say, not surprised. I've heard of Dregler throughout the years of F1 gaming on F1 games, so it's good to see that he's maintained pace and that he is still at the top. I mean, we do still have Jared to set a lap, I believe. No? Okay, I have no idea what Jared is doing. Well, he intentionally slowed down on his lap right at the line, so I believe Jared is taking the piss yet again.
Yeah, that would be if you got a dictionary out there, everyone at home, and just went to DRC Jared's name, you would see the perfect definition of taking the piss, because if I was looking at that time correctly, Brad, it looked like it was going to be probably in the 107s or late 106s potentially, but absolutely taking the piss yet again, as New Zealand Ryan says a piss has been taken. Wow, there we go. Thank you, New Zealand Ryan. As Big Shep says, go. Wilco, go. Let's hear it go. Wilco, go. And don't we love Wilco and Shep as well, those two legends sharing the same birthday as Julian. King Julian says, remember to leave a like, by the way, gamers. Yep, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already for more racing game content. And I hate it when people say that, don't you, Brad? It almost makes me not subscribe to their channel.
I mean, yes and no. To me, it really depends on who the YouTuber is, whether I like or subscribe to their videos. I won't lie, majority of the people that I watch on YouTube I'm not even subscribed to, so... But I've got to say, Kid Boys is definitely one that you have to subscribe to, guys.
Absolutely, no arguments there. Like we said, subscribe if you haven't already. As I just get my microphone fixed up here, I did trip over it a moment ago. Oh my goodness, I've got XP. How good is that? I'm level 18, I almost leveled up there, Brad, and I didn't even compete in the qualifying session. As we look at the final results on your screen, and it's that man. Oh shit, no, I don't want to leave the session. Jesus Christ, I pressed the wrong button here. No, we don't want to leave the session. Thank God for that. Phew. Breathes a sigh of relief. there we go. It's Haas. And Gunter won't be asking any questions about that. Pole position for them tonight ahead of Big Donga. And then it's Harry Ryan. Jesus Christ, 5 seconds. We're going to get through this. Cartoon, BK, Wilco, Rob Dog, Nemo, Big Dick Johnson, Hef rounding out the top 10 with Sam in P11, Fubbles in P12, P13 for Danielson, and V8 man Dane Williams. Oh my goodness, it's pissing down here. Hashtag best fans, says Rafa. And it is really pissing down. I've got to tell you, that is the, I think that's the meteorological term for it, Brad, if that even is a word. We might have to get that dictionary out, as Wilco says he had a shit qualifying session. And Rafa saying, Jesus Christ is in the lineup. And I'll tell you, though, who is in the lineup. A man with more followers than Jesus, Sam Cham, starting from P11, and he'll be looking for a sexy race as well. Wilco saying, here we go, time to get taken out for the 4th race in a row, and I'm not sure whether I like that attitude, Brad, from our man Wilco.
I mean, can you really blame him? He's had 3 weeks in a row where, you know, he's been involved in incidents, so I can understand why he is like that. You did just mention Sam Cham. I would like to point out that he did leave before the end of the qualifying session, so there is no Sam Cham tonight. Both the Alphas are gone.
Unbelievable stuff. I'm not too sure whether I'll be able to go on after hearing that news, but we will have to go on. And the show must go on, and positive thinking. New Zealand Ryan said positive thinking, and that's a very good way to approach it as my goodness, we see a Williams go off there on the formation lap. Very reminiscent of David Coulthard at the 1995 Italian Grand Prix, who went off on the formation lap. Same year he put it into the pit lane entrance, I think, at Adelaide. But everyone will be too young to remember that. But 35 laps here tonight, and in these conditions, Brad, it is going to be very, very difficult. And I reckon, is DRC Jared questioning his decision to take the Mickey in qualifying, because these boys are struggling on this warm-up lap?
They definitely are struggling, as half of the grid is actually on the grid. That's how many we've lost during this formation lap. Obviously, DRC Jared had the confidence within himself to slow down and come last in qualifying. So, I mean, whether that pays out for him or not, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it's a bold strategy move for him, and I've got to say, if it pays off for him, he is taking the absolute piss out of everyone in this league.
There we go. Heavy rain. You heard it here first. Down to our weatherman, Jason Wilkinson, with the forecast. 5 minutes until the light rain, with the rain potentially stopping around lap 20 to 25. That's when it's going to stop. It almost sounds like it's got its own race strategy, doesn't it? It'll be stopping on lap 20 to 25 as we see BK there just ghosting through a few cars. And we are going to go to our poleman Dregler on the left. BK... Big Donga, I beg your pardon, on the right in the Renault. It's Haas versus Renault down into turn 1. It's round 4 of this SRL PS4 F1 2019 Championship. 4 lights, 5 lights, pause. Go, go, go for Canada. And Dregler gets a good start off the line, but Big Donga's right alongside him there, and Harry as well. Oh, the Renault as well. BK up into P5, Cartoon P4 for Williams, but it's Big Donga in the lead, who did one of his famous around the outside Big Donga jobs now, and Harry Ryan puts all sorts of pressure on the Haas. So it's Renault, Haas, Mercedes, Williams in the opening lap of this race. Shocking conditions here as Nemo and Compact have made up a few places, and there's contact, and I reckon Harry's around there, Brad. Not a good start for him.
Yeah, not a good start for him, unfortunately, and it wasn't for Dregler either, as both the Renaults have just jumped basically everyone. Big Donga potentially, was it a Donga dive bomb into the first corner? I don't know, I didn't quite see, but he's gotten out front here, and he's keeping the pace with Dregler just behind him, and then also his teammate. Rob Dog in 4th. I would like to point out that I believe Jason was caught up in some action again because he's fallen down to 9th. And DRC Jared taking the absolute piss and is in 8th spot already.
unbelievable. We haven't even completed a lap of this race and just sit down. Oh, virtual safety car, Brad.
Safety car. Yeah, I just noticed that. I was wondering why everyone was going at a certain tempo, and now we know why. Surprisingly enough, we have not had one safety car this season yet, while there have been crashes on the racing line. So maybe tonight, if there's a crash in the Wall of Champions, but Jason's gone and pitted, so something has gone horrendously wrong again for him tonight.
Here we go. Jason Wilkinson into the pit lane. Not so much for the tyres, I reckon, but it's for a new front wing. So our man in the wars again. And you can see Sam down in 16th there. He didn't start the race like you said, Brad, but Wilco now 15th. Cart Dude in the pits as well. And he must have a penalty, I'm guessing, because we saw the mechanics there just waiting before changing his front wing as Grinner says down here enjoying the race with Big Alan Shane. And don't forget Conrad as well down there at the Beach Hut Brewery in Scoresby, Victoria. A great bunch of lads. And it's great to have your company with us. And my goodness gracious me, haven't we seen some action here as Cart Dude comes straight onto the track and then back off it again, Brad. These conditions are very tricky as we take a look at Big Donga there. So the virtual safety car has been and gone, I should say, in Big Donga. So it's Renault and Renault. So a Renault 1-2. And Mr. Cyril will be happy with that as Dregler now down to P3. But he's on the comeback trail, Brad. He's still looking good there in P3.
He definitely is looking good there. I would like to say that BK did overtake him and ran off the track a little bit. So he didn't get a penalty for that. But, I mean, if that was a real racing circumstance, I'd say that BK would have had to have given that position back. So the game hasn't caught him out there, which is unfortunate for Dregler. BK did go for the move, but then gained time by going off the track. So hopefully Dregler is able to catch back up to him at the end of the race. But I will say the guys that are running medium traction definitely have an advantage over the guys that are running no traction. This isn't an assist league, but this definitely shows that there is a big difference in running medium traction and no traction.
Yes, that is very true. Heavy rain conditions, we're expecting that till about lap 20 or 25, lap 3. Having said that, 35 lap race here at the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, where if you're just joining us, it is absolutely pissing down. That is the only way to describe it. But Renault aren't too concerned. It's a Renault 1-2 between Big Donga there as we'll go through the order. BK a further 2.4 seconds behind him. Dregler has slotted into third, Rob Dog into fourth, and DRC Jarrett has jumped 10 places from the start, from P15 to P5, and now he's got Rob Dog in his sights. And I don't think there's going to be any team orders there between the Red Bull stable, because it's a Toro Rosso coming up behind a Red Bull. We'll check on that as, there's a slight mistake there. He almost ended up in the Wall of Champions, but he's too good for that, is DRC Jarrett. So still working his way through the order. The Haas there further back. And V8 man currently in P7. He's jumped 4 spots, so a good start for him. Side by side with Compact. It's Haas, then McLaren and McLaren. And this is very, very close. That battle for the midfield is going to be so, so tight tonight. And especially in these conditions, Bradley, you cannot put a foot wrong.
It definitely is going to be difficult, and like you said, you cannot put a foot wrong in these conditions. It's very hard to pass in the wet, and I've got to say, majority of the time, it's going to be due to someone else's mistake that you're going to gain a position. It's exactly what happened when DRC Jared passed Nemo up the hairpin. Nemo went a bit deep, and DRC was just able to scoot up the inside. These two McLarens are always near each other when it comes to racing, so I did see that Big Dog Dillon got a 3-second time penalty, so that once again the penalties are going to hurt him and his finishing position. But this midfield battle, always so close.
Always very close. And now that Haas, Brad in a McLaren sandwich as V8 man gets past Compact for P6, P7 for that man that was on your screen. Then it's Big Dick Johnson coming down the back straight now in P8. And it's still very close. Harry Ryan, of course, who lost 6 places from the start as Rob Dog. And that it saddens me to say he's got a 3-second penalty for a corner cutting warning as DRC Jarrett has now passed Rob Dog. And down the inside, I should say, Jarrett on the outside, Rob Dog on the inside, but he has got that move done. And DRC Jarrett, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, He'd be a fair bet for this race tonight, but still a long, long way to go as we keep going through that order. Compact now has dropped down behind Big Dick Johnson. Harry Ryan is making a move. Oh my goodness, that looks like a corner cut to me. If I'm not mistaken, from Harry Ryan there, as we've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. Fubbles in what seems to be his favourite position, Brad, P10, the man who took pole position last week. Then it's Hef. So both Ferraris outside of the points at the moment. And I've got to say, I'm not too sure what the word is in Italian, Brad, but they won't be too happy down there at Ferrari with both their drivers outside of the points in the opening few laps.
No, they definitely won't. And I believe it's the wet weather that's caught them out, as I don't believe they've done any testing or practicing this week with wet weather. So anything those two would have learned in a session has definitely gone out the window, and they've definitely been caught up in a few incidents here or there today. Like we said earlier though, with DRC Jared just getting past everyone, he's now up into 3rd place, and he's catching the 2 guys in front. So it is a long race, but my money's definitely on DRC Jared at the moment.
Yep, that's not a bad bet. I wouldn't mind a piece of that. I'd say DRC Jared possibly into $1.35, $1.45 as Rob Dog getting it all out of shape there. And you can see there Rafa just saying, any awards for the gnarliest slides? Wow, Rafa, that's so gnarly, man. That's so good, man. And here we go. I'm not too sure where I was going with that one, but the McLarens, like they have been for most of the season, Brad, 6th and 7th together again. There we go, 6th and 7th. We were going through the order, weren't we? Compact in 8th, all up in Big Dick Johnson's mirrors there, keeping him honest here on lap 6 in the Haas. And then it is Fubbles now up to P9. Hef has made it into the top 10. He's jumped 4 spots off the line after qualifying 4th. We're seeing a lot of drivers slipping and sliding all over the place. As now we've got Nemo, Brad, has retired from this one. So 2 drivers already out of this race. 16 started, 14 are left.
Only 15 started actually. Sam didn't left at the end of the qualifying session. I believe Nemo's just struggling with a new wheel, and it's really unfortunate for him, but I expect once he gets used to his Fanatec that he'll be up near the top once again, because he is really fast. And as we have a whole gaggle of cars now pitting for intermediate tyres, and Jason has left once again.
Yep. I can tell you, Brad, he had a big moment coming out of turn 8 and 9 there at the back part of the track, and he was doing the old Austin Powers 3-point turn, and he's just thought, you know what, I'm sick of this, and I am out of here. So we've lost Wilco, so we've lost another one as Harry Ryan sets a quick lap of the 1:23.423. So there, you know what that means, Brad. We've reached the crossover point. It's time for intermediate tyres, as they're all dipping their bread in it at the moment. Dipping their bread in it. What am I going on about, Brad? But he's still the leader on the wet tyres. When will we see our leader coming in to the pits? As they're all going to the intermediate tyres now, we might see what tyre they are all on. We've still got 4 drivers on the wets, but everyone else, Brad, has changed to the inters. It is time, my friend.
It definitely is time, and we see the leader right now coming into pit. I'm not sure how long it takes for a standard pit stop here, but I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised to see DRC Jared come out in front at the end of this pit stop.
Here we go then, the leader into the pits for Renault, Big Donga, taking the wet tyres off. On go the intermediates, V8 man now. The last of the drivers still running, I believe, on the wet tyres. He was up into P3. Now he will be further down the order, of course, after this pit stop, as the McLaren boys get to work. Off go the wets, on go the inters. And Wilco saying wheel glitch. And I'm assuming he is referring to his wheel, which apparently can glitch out. So not a good night for Wilco. And where's V8 man going to feed out here? Well, I can tell you he's going to feed out right in between this battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. Between himself, Hef and Harry Ryan. And, oh, Dane, don't do that, son. And Harry now 3-second penalty for Harry Ryan, I believe. Fubbles getting a 3-second time penalty as well. And, boy, I reckon if you looked in the race director, Brad, there would be a lot of black and white flags We're seeing the black and white flag back in real-life Formula One, and I reckon we're going to see it a fair bit here tonight.
I believe so. I believe it's caught a lot of the drivers out already. I mean, it's kind of hard, especially here in the wet, to keep it on the track. And we're definitely seeing that tonight as we're seeing people slide here or there. So, I mean, once it dries out in this middle part and chunk of the race, we shouldn't really expect to see any more penalties given out. Donga did end up coming out with a 2-second lead, but Jared is closing in on him. So I'd say the person that benefited the most from switching to the intermediate tyres is Rob Dog, who's actually up in 3rd place at the moment.
So Rob Dog getting the timing spot on. And if you can see a Toro Rosso in the background there, that is the man you mentioned, Brad, DRC Jared, just 2.3 seconds behind our race leader at the moment. And Wilco saying, so many guys running traction and ABS, not next season, no assists, as Big Dick Johnson gets another 3-second penalty for good measure. But Wilco not happy with the assist, but this is currently an assists league, Brad. And we did say it earlier on, the drivers who are running those assists of ABS, traction and whatnot do have an advantage in these slippery conditions.
They definitely do, and we had a pre-vote earlier on this season, and I'm going to say I was one of the guys that voted for no assist, because I believe that is the way that you should race. I'm on a pad, I play in controller, and I'm able to handle it. So I don't know what the excuses are for the other people that are using the assists.
Either do I. I was also in that bracket of voting for no assists, as a 121 there from Big Donga and DRC Jared. Just the time starting to tumble now as the track dries out. And yeah, I did vote for no assists, Brad. Of course, it is a democracy. We did have the option to vote. I think I might have got the instruction to vote for no assists, but anyway, we won't, less said the better. As lap 10 out of 35. And if you've been good enough to join us here on the live stream tonight on the Kid Buyers channel for SRL, you are about to see a spicy little ding-dong here as we come up to the ghost of Wilco's past. That is Wilco's Ferrari up there ghosting, I believe, Bradley. But this is going to be a spicy battle for the lead. Not just do we have an intense battle between Harry, V8 Man and Big Dick Johnson, and also Fubbles as well down there in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. But this is getting very close now, Brad. Where is this move going to get done?
Well, he's going to sit right behind him here, as you can see at the moment. He's got it on overtake, so I'd definitely be expecting for a move into the first corner, possibly even somewhere in the at the end of the first sector, maybe even the second sector. He is closing up on him. He's got a run right now, so they won't have to pass Wilco's car. They can just drive straight through it, as it is an AI driver, and it will ghost. But I believe we'll see DLC Jared get a pass really soon on Donga at the front. Oh, DRC Jared, 3-second time penalty. Okay, this has made it interesting. Trev, I am not sure if you're having an audio issue again, but you weren't there once I finished my sentence.
I'm back. I'm back. Yep, it's great to be back. Jesus, I nearly missed the most important moment of the race. As Big Dick, sorry Brad, I'll never leave you again. How about that? Lap 11 out of 35 here as Big Donga, who famous for the Big Donga dive bomb. Might be getting a bit of dive bomb action himself now as we come out of the hairpin. Jared getting it all wrong there. A slight hints of oversteer, look. Or is that understeer? I'm not too sure. As the Toro Rosso, it's Toro Rosso versus Renault. And Super Crunch saying, just get in on it, mate. Here we go. Down the inside. Is he going to go into the last corner and do a dive bomb on the Big Donga himself? No, he's not. They both avoid the wall of champions. But Wilco is out of this race. Out, mate. See you, Wilco. And you've still got time to head down there. It's not even 9 o'clock, Wilco. You can head down to the Beach Hut Brewery in Scoresby, Victoria with Big Shep, Shane and Grinder. I think it was, what was his name? Grinder or something like that. Anyway, it's good to have you. What was it?
Conrad, I think.
Conrad, there we go. Grinder, where did I get that from? All right, Wilco saying, yeah, well, what's going on, mate? We're not too sure. But anyway, we'll get back to the racing action. Some things that, my brain and the mouth just doesn't connect up like it used to, Brad, and some strange things come out now. But this is very close. It's Renault v Toro Rosso there. Which driver can keep a level head, stay calm? And Super Crunch says, get a frothy down ya. I'm hanging out for a beer, Super Crunch. I can't wait. But look at this. They're going to be side by side very, very shortly here on lap 12 out of 35. We started in full wet conditions. Then we changed to the intermediate tyres. No DRS, but he goes down the inside. Oh, no.
Ooh.
Big Donga, just the last of the late breakers, manages to keep his nose in front. And it's Grinner, not Grinder. And it's great to have your company, Grinner. I knew I was close, but I was so far. But it's Renault. Speaking of someone who's not so far away, though, is Toro Rosso. This man, DRC Jared, who elected to just ease off his qualifying lap to start in 15th for reasons unknown to us, Bradley. But now he's up in P2, and it pretty much has become a last to first challenge, which is something that the YouTubers love to do, and DRC Jared is nearly doing it right now. Oh, he's very close, Brad.
He is very close, and as you'll see, the track is drawing up quite rapidly, so we're definitely going to get to that territory where they're going to be jumping onto some dry tyres, which might be the best opportunity for DRC Jared to get past. But he is all over Donga at the moment, looking everywhere to pass. The last few times around this very exact corner, DRC Jared has lost the rear end and lost a bit of ground, as he has a little moment again there. It's definitely drawing out, and that may be the best chance for DRC Jared to get this move done on Donga, as we see DRS is now enabled, so we have Donga pitting for some dry tyres.
Well, it's all happening. DRC Jared goes up into the lead. DRS has been enabled. And Michael Massey there at FIA Race Control has pressed the button, Brad. And we've got DRC Jared in front now. And then it's the two Renaults in second and third, both in the pits. And they look to be double stacking there. No, I think Big Donga might have got out in a fair amount of time. As Wilco says, it's meant to rain at the end. So a very brave move if you're going to go on to dry tyres at this stage of the race. And it's a huge gamble to take, Brad. Will it come off?
It definitely will, because it says that it's supposed to rain at the end of the race, and it's definitely drying out here. I think we're going to have enough of a period where these guys are going to be able to get onto the dry tyres. I mean, if they've done their, if they've looked at how the weather was going to be, they'll know how long it's going to be dry for. And I definitely got to say, it's definitely not into weather at the moment, and Donga's just got a 3-second time penalty, so these time penalties are going to come back to haunt people and their finishing positions.
Certainly are. The Haas there, and Hef and the Haas, and that, here we go, he's going to go around the outside. No, there's nothing that Compact can do about it, so those two have had a bit of a battle throughout the course of this race, and a slight mistake there from the Haas of Compact, and that'll see Harry Ryan, and you can see, can't you, the difference between the new medium tyres and the 7-lap-old intermediate tyres on a dry track, Brad, because he just sailed straight past there, did Harry in the Mercedes.
Yeah, he definitely did. So these guys that stayed out on the intermediate tyres definitely didn't pit at the right time, and it's caught them out. As we see, DRC Jared has dropped 5 seconds. He lost 5 seconds in that pit stop to Donga. Donga made the right call, seen that DRS was enabled, and stuck it right into the pits and gained a 5-second gap over DRC Jared.
So bubbles into the pits for Toro Rosso. Compact, we saw him struggling on that lap. So everybody now, we've got medium tyres. We've got Danielson down there still struggling on the intermediates. And surely he's going to come into the pits as Big Dick Johnson sets a quick lap of 1:17. Point something or other before Cartu does the same. And the Mercedes into the pits now, and we're looking for a new set of hard tyres, he says. He goes, get to work, fellas. There we go, into the pits and out again. And he is on the hard tyres. Wilco ghosting around. Nemo's gone, so is Sam. As we get back to the front, so it's Big Donga still holding a 4-second lead. Lap 15 out of 35. And Big Donga setting the pace, isn't he? A 1:15 flat last time around, Brad. So 3.8 seconds. So after all of that, we're pretty much back to where we started with DRC Jared. 3.5 seconds off the lead at the moment.
Yeah, we definitely are. And the pace is picking up because the track is drying out even more. And I tell you what, for the person keeping score of who has the fastest lap, I tell you what, this is going to be difficult to figure out who it's going to be, as these times are going to just go quicker, quicker, and quicker. It's going to be a fastest lap every lap that comes around. DRC Joe, he's just sitting there, you know, about 2 seconds behind. Dregler has left the session.
He's gone. I'm not seeing any incident on my screen. All I'm seeing is a ghost of cars, a ghost of a Haas, ghost of girlfriend's Haas. And there we go. That's terrible. But he is gone, and he was in P5 as well. So he is gone. So we've lost another one. And Hef up to P6, and he is battling tooth and nail with Harry. We might stick with this for a little while as they're side by side, reminiscent of the current F1 season. It's Ferrari versus Mercedes-Benz. DRS is enabled. Is the Hef going to have a go? No, he's not, and Harry is through. And Hef very much the lead Ferrari driver this season, Brad, after the unfortunate start that we've seen Wilco have. Hef really flying the flag for the Italian outfit.
He definitely has been, and I mean, he's just been able to stay out of the trouble, and trouble hasn't found him. So, I mean, that consistency, that's all it is. Unfortunately for Jason, he's had a consistent bad run with race starts and being caught up in incidents that, you know, aren't necessarily caused by him, where Heffer's been able to stay out of trouble, and he just gains a lot of track position because of that, and it's why at the moment he is the lead Ferrari and the one bagging the points for Ferrari.
Yes, as we see Kart Dude now, Brad, down there in P11, not a good race for him, and it's always difficult seeing one of our beloved regulars struggling, but he is down in P11, and as Wilco says, sent the video to you from my crash. Wilco there, we'll take a look at that. And speaking of that, look, that's a nice view from the back of the Toro Rosso there. Fubbles, the last driver on the lead lap now, as Danielson is a lap down. And we keep flicking through the order. 2.2 seconds, that gap now between Toro Rosso of DRC Jared and the Renault of Big Donga. So not for the first time this evening, we're seeing a Toro Rosso catch a Renault, and in a sandwich of Renaults there. And as we see the second of the banana cars in BK in P3, Rob Dog coming up to his old mate, the ghost of his old mate Wilco. But Rob Dog, a very impressive race tonight, I've got to say, Brad. He is looking quite good up there in P4 now with Dregler gone. He's looking for a top 4 finish tonight.
Yeah, he definitely is looking quite well. And I've got to say, I haven't necessarily raced with Rob Dog, but boy, has he shown that he's had some pace. And if things continue to go this way this season, I wouldn't be surprised to see him as a contender, as you don't necessarily know what could happen in a race. I tell you what, I am surprised that nobody has been caught out by the Wall of Champions though. I was looking forward to someone plowing right into that wall.
There's still time, Brad, with half the race gone and half still to go. There's still time, don't you worry, as Rob Dog himself gets ever so close to the Wall of Champions. So it's Red Bull in P4. And I think that's the only Red Bull we've got, I think. Yep, Red Bull. So Rob Dog, speaking of flying the flag for Red Bull Racing here tonight. He'll be keeping Christian Horner very happy indeed in P4. Harry there in P5, 8 seconds behind Rob Dog as we flick through there. Dregler, who's still on the screen, but he's a ghost at the moment. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no Haas. Okay, as Hef there currently coming up behind that perfect Haas. He can see that nice Haas there. Not too far ahead of him as we ride on board with him now, and he's got that dreaded X against his name, which means that he's there, but he's not really there, if you know what I mean. And then it's the two inseparable McLarens, Brad, P8 and P9. Big Dick Johnson. I've got to say, the comments have gone quiet on the live stream. Don't be scared to get those comments in. Impersonations, song requests. Brad, you take the song requests. I'll take the impersonations. We both make a cracking team here as Compact there in the second of the two Haas's. And it hasn't really been Haas's day. P7 and P10, and I can see Gunther Steiner having with steam coming out of his ears. You know, they go down to Gunther on the pit wall, and this is really shit race. You know, we are in P7 and P10. Yes, very terrible stuff for him. And did I say that I was doing the impressions, Brad? Because that was an absolutely shithouse Gunther Steiner impression there.
I gotta say, it was actually quite good, and I love the Gunther Steiner impression. I gotta say though, the Haas's performing better on game than in real life. I believe if Gunther Steiner was saying this, he'd take a point or two. Unfortunate for the Haas cars, been a bit shit this year. They're just not able to warm up the tyres to optimal temperature and stuff like that. And yeah, for some reason, the drivers on the in this league are doing better than the F1 drivers in real life. So maybe we should get Dregler and Jimbo into the Haas cars.
And Daniel Sun as well. Brad has left the session now. He did appear to lose part of his front wing end plate, so he was involved in a bit of an incident there, which we didn't see on the stream. But Big Donga has got DRC Jared now right up his arse. I think that's the technical term we like to use in league racing, Brad. He is right up his ginger. DRS will be enabled. He's only 5/10 behind him, so he will definitely have a crack at him down that back straight. As we see all the drivers now on the medium tyres. So it'll be interesting to see whether those tyres can last to the end of the race, of course. But we do have rain potentially coming back. So keep an eye out for that. And he's mighty close, Brad. DRC Jared and the Toro Rosso, not for the first time tonight. Right behind and about to pass potentially one of the Renaults.
Yeah, not for the first time. And I believe that he will get this move done. And he's decided to go to the outside. And he's cleanly got it done before the actual corner. So DRC Jared taking the lead there, and I believe this may turn into another Sunday drive for him.
Well, it is looking that way, you'd have to say. That move was very, I wouldn't say it was easy, but Big Donga not putting up a fight there, as race control has issued Rob Dog 1996 with another 3-second time penalty as Wilco. Thank you for your comment. He says, surely my luck has to change. Let's hope it does. Let's hope it does indeed for round 5 of this championship next week. 10 rounds at this championship. And currently looking at the championship standings, DRC Jared, it is his week. He didn't get any points in round 1. He got the clean sweep in round 2 at China, of course, with the win and the fastest lap. He got nothing last week because he was away in Spain, and he could get the job done again, fastest lap, and win here again. So every fortnight he's bringing home the bacon, Brad.
He definitely is, and I believe even if he wanted to have another few weeks off and win every second week, he may potentially win the championship. So he's got an incredible amount of speed. I mean, he is in other leagues and racing with New Zealand Ryan and King Julian as well. So, I mean, he's just incredibly fast. He's already pulled out a second on Donga, and he only overtook him last lap. So, I mean, he could visit the Queen again if he wanted to at this point.
He certainly could, as we will flick through this order as Rafa. Oh, wow. Hey, Rafa. Thanks for joining us here, Rafa. It's awesome, man, to see you. No, we love you, Rafa. I saw him at the Grand Prix a few years ago, which I pretty much say about everyone, don't I? I saw them at the Grand Prix a few years ago, but I actually did. And he said this race looks typical Auckland weather. I have spent some time in Auckland, and the weather is fairly shithouse, I must say, compared to Australia, but still great to keep your comments coming in, Rafa. We love you, man. Wow, Rafa, keep commenting, keep watching the stream. And it's lap 23 out of 35 here as I morph from that bizarre-sounding American accent back to my normal native tongue as we keep going through this order. Then Hef up into P6, a man who I know and love. The Hef 81 there in the Ferrari. V8 man in P7. The ghost of Dregler. He'll be dreading this race, though, you've got to say, because he is ghosting around. And Big Dick Johnson now catching the ghost of Dregler, who's still setting some pretty impressive lap times, Brad. Despite not being there, he's still holding on to P8 and a point-scoring finish. As we look at Kart Dude now, who's, he could potentially be coming up to put some pressure on Big Dick Johnson, if I'm not mistaken.
He definitely could be, and I did start to notice this just a moment ago as I was on board with them. But once again switched off because Dregler somehow managed to get past V8 man, which surprised me. As Jono's got another time penalty. These time penalties are going to hurt where he finishes. A points place finish might be off the cards here with the penalties that are yet to come.
Well, I believe I saw some front wing end plate just shearing off there. I reckon the Wall of Champions might have its first victim as, yes, this is very spicy. Big Dick Johnson, minus some of his front wing end plate, goes side to side with the Williams of Kart Dude. And this is, I'll tell you what, this is a throwback. This is the 1992 Monaco Grand Prix, Williams versus McLaren. But it's not quite Senna and Mansell, but you get the idea. As, there's a Haas there. Contact with Compact. That rhymes, I reckon. But he's down to P11. This is very spicy indeed. Down into the hairpin. Who's going to break later? It's Compact versus Kart Dude. Contact again, Brad.
Oh, these two racing so hard. I love it. Jimbo shoving it up the inside of Kart Dude, and then Kart Dude coming back and saying, I'm going to give you what you gave me. As Rob Dog decided to pit and put on some soft tyres there. Amazingly, I believe Jono... Oh, did Jono make contact with the wall again? I'm not sure. But we'll have to just wait and see. I believe Jono will just leave this front wing like this until they may have to pit again with rain coming. Unless Rob Dog's gotten the call that rain's not coming, he's onto some soft tyres, and look for him to be very quick.
10 laps from the end. Rob Dog there. Already made a move on V8 man. We might go and have a look at that. Rob Dog is absolutely flying at the moment for Red Bull. And, wow, he only dropped to P7 there after that pit stop, as Rafa saying that that might have been a little Rosberg action there between Kart Dude and Compact. He got Rosberged. And it's nice to think, what did Rosberg say years ago? It's good to think that you're thinking about yourself, Lewis. Or something like that, I forget. But anyway, Nico Rosberg, I'd actually miss him. I didn't think he was that bad a driver anyway. But lap 26 out of 35.
Drama!
Oh my God, what's happening?
So Wilco has come in, his ghost has come into pit, and Hef has had to double stack.
Unbelievable.
So Hef has just lost massive amounts of chunk of time.
All because of Wilco, who's not even there. He's having a frothy or two, and you can see the Ferrari mechanics with their hands in the air saying, Mamma mia, what's just happened? And they're not going to be happy at all, and I wouldn't want to be a fly on the wall. Or maybe I would want to be a fly on the wall for that Ferrari debrief with Manitio Benotio. I think that's his name, Brad, because that is going to be a shocking post-race debrief for Ferrari.
It definitely will be, and I believe he'll be like, why did he pit? Why did they have him pit? Oh yeah, I believe Hef is going to be absolutely filthy that he's just been cut by Wilco's AI, his ghost.
That's
bizarre scenes. I've never seen that.
We've got the team radio from Ferrari. I am stupid. Well, Mamma Mia, Rafa, who says, get this, Rafa has just sent us a message saying he can listen to us commentate all day, man. And Wilco saying, mi scusi, no Forza Ferrari. And we'll keep going through this order then. But that's a nice message, isn't it, Brad? He can listen to us commentate all day. And as much as I'd love to commentate all day, it's only every Thursday night from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on the Kit Buyers YouTube channel. On behalf of SRL, I won't keep talking quick, because that's another thing that annoys me about YouTubers is when they talk really quick, and I'm doing it at the moment, Brad.
No, it's all right. I don't mind. I believe I commentate pretty fast, especially when there's some contact being made or anything like that. I mean, you know, you got to have someone that's you know, the fast talker in commentary. So, you know, if it's not me, it's you. If it's me, it's you. You know, so yeah. The crowds are starting to roll in, but with only a certain amount of laps left, I reckon these guys are going to brave it out on these tyres.
Oh, I've got to say, we've got some other drivers there on the soft tyres. Now we've got a battle. Mi scusi, I'm want to going through. I sound a bit like a David Valsecchi. Here he comes down at the inside. Is he going to make it a move? Yes, he is going to make it a move. He's up to P8. P8. Grazie. Forza McLaren. Jeez, I'm no good at that, am I? So there we go.
McLaren.
Forza McLaren, head down, focus, head down. And with 6 laps to go until the end of this one, Wilco saying, Rap God Trev, boom, as Rafa saying live with Benitio on the pit wall, saying, Mamma mia. In all seriousness though, Rob on the fresh shops will be quicker when it starts to drizzle. And when it starts to full drizzle. And that's why Snoop Dogg carries an umbrella, speaking of rappers, Brad, for the full drizzle.
Oh my god. That setup was great. Yeah. Oh, I'm about to lose it.
Alright, push on.
Okay, I'm pushing on. Yeah, so I would like to point out that both McLarens actually made a move at the same time on their fellow drivers that they were racing. It was simultaneous, so Big Dog Jono got past Compact. I believe there are penalties left, right and centre for everybody, so it's going to mix up the grid for sure. I've got to say, Jared isn't pulling out as much of the lead as I thought he would here. It's only sitting at around 5 seconds. I thought for sure that he would have been able to stop at Macca's and, you know, would have pulled out like a 10-second gap already. So I've got to say it's a bit closer than I thought it would be, but still a tremendous drive from this guy. He went from 15th to first, and he's just taken the piss to the next level.
He certainly is, as we ride on board with that man. Like you said, not pulling out. Neither did his father 14 or so years ago. No, just joking. But lap 30 out of 35 in this race. Let's just recap where we are at. We've done it all. We've rapped, we've sung, we've done impersonations, including some Snoop Dogg jokes. They're dad jokes, aren't they, technically, for me now? Not travelling all that well tonight, I must admit, but it's Toro Rosso in front. Ahead of Big Donga 619 in the Renault. Then it's another Renault. How good is that? BK there in P3, and I believe he may take the championship lead over Harry Ryan, who is our current championship leader, the man who's finished in second place 3 times in a row to start the season. He did cross the line, of course, the winner in Australia, but he got relegated to P2 on penalties. We'll have to check that out. There's 3 points between them. And BK currently ahead of Harry, so that might see, well, it could be even. I'm guessing, Brad, at the end of that one, as the rain begins to fall. They are drops I see before thine eyes, Bradley, and this is not over yet with 4 laps to go. Could there be another twist in the tail?
Oh, there is rain drops. Ooh. Well, it depends on how hard it's going to start coming down. They may just make it to the end of the race on these tyres, but they could also point it in the Wall of Champions. So with some rain coming, ooh, anything could happen.
Anything can happen in Grand Prix racing, and it usually does. Thank you, Murray Walker, because this is not over yet. And I've got to say, raindrops are falling on the track. Yeah. Are the drivers gonna have to stop for full wets or intermediates? I don't know, Brad. I'm going to stop singing because with 4 laps to go, the ghost of Dregler still haunts this race. He's still up into P6 and he's done 17 laps on those hard tyres. But Dregler and Daniel Sunners, Hef making his way through the ghosts now. But Big Shep says Shane, Conrad, Grinners, Grinder, Grinners, Terry, Shane, Conrad, and Big Shep himself are all tuning in from the Beach Hut Brewery down there in Scoresby, Victoria. I love each and every one of you fellas, and make sure you have an extra frothy for me. And I would love to be down there, as Wilco's saying, Shep, you can race for me next week, mate. I keep getting taken out. And Wilco saying, you race, I'll drink. Maybe we could do both. That's always a dangerous combination, of course. As we keep going through the order, it's great to have your company. With 16 people watching this stream now, I sure as hell hope that all 16 of them didn't hear me singing just a moment ago, Brad.
Oh, the voice of an angel, mate. If they didn't hear that, they've missed out. Everyone dies and goes to heaven when they hear you sing. So, I'm just on board with Jared, and he's taking it very, very cautious into these corners. So it's definitely getting wetter. I mean, with only 3 laps to go, is it worth putting on into all DRS disabled, which means it could be time for the intermediates, and Jared is pitting.
Jared is into the pits. This is so exciting that I've knocked the chair over and now I'm standing up as we see the Toro Rosso into the pits at the moment. And which tyres? I'm guessing it's going to be intermediates. Off come the mediums, and on go the intermediate tyres. So who else will pit? I've got to say, we're going to flick through the order now. The Renault is in, and Big Dong has been and gone, and now BK is into the pits. As Wilco says, freestyle Trev, what can't you do? God, I love you, man. Wilco, watch your daughter while shooting hoops. That's what I can't do. For anyone watching me on, following me or watching me on Facebook, as the second of the 2 Renaults comes into the pits, and there's a Toro Rosso there. Must be Fubbles, is it? Sitting, looking very odd in the pit lane, but we're riding on board now with Rob Dog, 1996. He's electing to stay out, Brad. And he's picked up another 3-second time penalty for good measure, but he has elected to stay out. And well, surely, Brad, now you've either got to make a decision. You've got to stay out. Oh, Roberto has gone off, and the chicken farmer from South Australia is struggling with his. Oh, he's got no grip at all, Brad. And surely, with 2 laps to go, you've got to make a decision. Do you stay out or do you come into the pits?
Well, for myself, he actually has the intermediate tyres on. So unless yours has glitched out for you and showing other tyres, he's actually on the intermediate tyres for me. What I would like to point out is the Hef, the only guy staying out on those dry tyres. And I believe this track is too damp to be running dry tyres. And Rob, really having another moment. This is catching out some drivers again. So we may see a crash here or there.
I do apologise, those tyres were glitching out on my screen, of course, because you need to be on the wet tyres at the moment. Here on the penultimate lap of this race, Rob Dog, 1996, the man who turns 23, I nearly said 33. I'm thinking about myself, aren't I, there tomorrow, and he'll be wanting to celebrate a very, very happy birthday if he can. Tomorrow, indeed, he's sticking it out now, the Hef, who's on the medium tyres still, so the only driver on my screen, as Big Dick Johnson has retired from the session, Brad. Disaster for the second of the 2 McLarens. They're on for a pretty good points haul, I reckon. But it's just V8 man left in this race as we keep going through the order. And there is Big Dick Johnson, you can see, stranded on the back straight, the casino straight, as Hef is into the pits now. V8 man with another 3-second penalty there, but they're handing them out like candy at the moment, as he'll need a new front wing. So Hef into the pits. Off go the dry tyres. On goes a new front wing and the intermediate tyres as well. He's into the pits and out again, and that's a shame, young Bradley, because he was looking good for possibly a top 6 finish now, but now he'll be struggling to stay in the top 10.
It is a real shame, and I gotta say, the second half of his race has just gone to complete shit. It started with the double stack from Ferrari calling in Jason's Ghost, and then putting Hef in on the same lap, and then staying out on the medium tyres, which is something I don't believe he would have wanted to do. So there's going to be a serious talking and debrief after this race for Ferrari, as this race has just gone to complete shambles for these two. Something I do want to know what would happen is if Dregler stays in 7th position, which is likely to happen, does Dregler get the points? Like, I don't know how that works. He's not here, but his ghost is finished 7th. Does everyone move up a position, or is Dregler awarded points for his ghost finish?
Well, I can tell you, Brad. As soon as this man crosses the line to win this race, I reckon he will keep those points because he's the last driver on the lead lap. As DRC Jared, he slowed down to cross the line in qualifying, and he does the same to win this race. He took the piss in China, and now he takes the piss again in Canada and wins this race for Toro Rosso ahead of Big Donga in P2, and BK now on the back straight coming up to the last couple of corners, so not a bad result for Renault. And indeed, I think it's going to be tight at the top. I reckon our championship's going to be locked together between BK, the man who's just crossed the line to finish on the podium, and this man, Harry Ryan, 19, who came into this race as our championship leader. He's finished P2, 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 now P4. And then Rob Dog in P5, but getting a bit of a moment there for Rob Dog, and he's just doing some.
Don't lose it, Rob Dog.
Don't lose it. Don't lose it. There's the line. There you go. Across the line, P5, and now V8 man in P8. But these penalties as well. We haven't even got penalties, have we yet? So that could cause some havoc. But then again, they would have changed, wouldn't they, Brad? Those. The results would have changed as they cross the line. So I think this is the final result, as DRC Jared says yeet, and Rafa saying exciting race. Oh wow, that race was so exciting. I've never seen anything like that in my life before. It was magnificent. And yes, thank you, Rafa, for that. That is unbelievable. Results change live, not post-race, of course. Thank you, Rafa. As there we go, we see the drivers up on the podium. DRC Jared, BK, and Big Donga, the two Renault drivers and the Toro Rosso driver. And I reckon Rob Dog saying not bad for a number 2 driver, but I tell you what, the man in the Toro Rosso, he'll be looking for a promotion, Brad, up to Red Bull after another stunning performance this week.
He definitely will be, and he's just taken the piss in this race again by starting last. He could have had pole and just streaked away with this race, but he decided to start last, come through the field, and win this race. I mean, we usually ask who the driver of the day is, but I gotta say, can you look past DRC Jared for driver of the day? The man started last and come first.
Well, the last to first challenge, he's done it. DRC Jared is our race winner ahead of Big Donga, the two Renault second and third. Harry Ryan, all square at the top of the championship now. P4, P5 for Rob Dog. Not bad for a number 2 driver. Dregler in 6th, the ghost of Dregler. V8 man in P7. I Love You, Dane Williams up there in Queensland in Australia. Cart Dude in P8. Hef in P9. And Compact rounding out the top 10 in P10 of all places, ahead of Fubbles, missing out on the points today. Wilco, Daniel San, and Big Dick Johnson retired at the end there, as we are going to get the top 3 drivers in the post-race interviews. As nicely done, Sir Butler, says BK. I'll get you, Butler. And Rafa says, I rest my case. The Wooden Spoon Grand Prix. And big Rob Dog Pearson wants to get an invite. The birthday boy wants an invite to the party chat, but we'll talk to our top 3 drivers. I haven't forgotten about you, Rob Dog. Stick with us there. And now they're all joining the party. And DRC Jared, BK, and Big Donga. Have we got our race winner in the lobby yet? In the lobby.
There is.
In the lobby. I need to go to the lobby. Yes! Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves some snacks. Yes! Oh, I like this man at the moment. How good is this? Now, I'm hearing my own voice back in the headphones, fellas, but talk us through your race. How good was that, mate? Last to first, you did it tonight. Good stuff. I'm just sorry, I'm just having a few issues with my headset at the moment, but I don't think you're coming through, Jared. So remember to allow your voice to be shared so we can hear you there tonight. Sorry, I'm hearing my own voice now. Through the stream anyway, but thank you for that, Jared. We'll head to our number two man, which I believe was Big Donger. Big Donger, can you hear us, mate?
Can you hear us, mate?
Yep.
All right. No one can. Can anybody hear me?
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
I just muted Jared because it's coming back through his.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Jared.
That's fine for Jared's mic.
I'll kick him. It's all good.
I'm hearing myself through the microphone, and there's also an echo too. But anyway, so DRC Jared has left the party, and it should be good now. If anybody can hear Donger. Donger is not coming through apparently, but anyway, if you're allowing your voice to be shared, Donger, we should be able to hear you, mate. But talk us through your race. We'll push on. We have great luck with these interviews, don't we, Brad, each and every week? But we'll push on. We'll push on anyway, Donger, mate. P2 for you in tricky conditions. Talk us through your race tonight.
Qualified. Well, obviously, as qualifying started, took a look at the weather and saw there be a wet race, so sort of had no regard for tyres in qualifying. So just went at it as fast as I could. Managed to get up in P2 late in the qualifying session there and started off strong in the race, got past Dregler. Had a great car. Unfortunately, Jared was a lot faster than I was, so when it came to that, he just went straight past me on the DRS and I wasn't really able to battle him very much. But yeah, it was a great race all up and happy to be back on the podium.
And a good result for you, mate. A very difficult race, of course, starting in the wet. Then it went dry, then back to wet. But still, a good haul of points for you and your teammate, both in the Constructors' Championship, mate. Well done tonight, and we will see you next time around.
Thank you.
There we go. So, Big Donger, have we spoken? We've still got BK, have we, on the line?
Still on the line, fellas.
Yep, there we go. BK, Bailey. Talk us through your race, mate. P3 in the end. Are you happy with that, mate, or could you have achieved more in this race tonight?
Oh, there was definitely more on the table because I got my last qualifying lap invalidated, which I believe could have put me on the front row, which probably could have put me ahead of Butler at the start, but it was all really about surviving that lap 1 carnage in that first sector. I got a bit of damage at the start, and Butler didn't, so I sort of acted as a rear gunner today, because even though I'm one in the title fight and he isn't, I pretty much volunteered to be the number 2 driver today to try and get the best result for him and the best result for the team, and to be the first constructor this season to achieve a double podium. It feels pretty good to get this 2-3 for the team.
Yeah, great work, mate, and what a fitting tribute as well after the events that have happened in the previous few weeks, of course, down there at Renault. I know you ran that tribute back in round 1, mate, but fantastic result. P2 and P3 tonight, so like you said, first team this season to get a double podium, mate. Congratulations on the result, not just for you, but for the team, and all the best for next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, good work there, BK. And Big Donger as well, I should say, for Renault, both getting on the podium tonight. And our winner, DRC Jared, who we couldn't quite hear. And I was hearing an echo back through my headset, which was very off-putting, Brad, if you've ever had that happen to you. But I think we're just about out of time, Bradley, for another week. It's all over. I feel upset. I'm sad now. We've got to wait another week before we're back here again.
Another week that we've got to wait, and we're going to be at Austria. So the hills are alive with the sound of cars.
Yes, they will be. Oh, how good is that? And I love it because that's they always ask Toto Wolff about what his favourite race of the season is. And, he always says that, I love Austria because I can just get into my car and drive home and see my Susie. So he loves it. And it is a good track, though. Nicky Lauda as well. Rest in peace, Nicky. So we'll be at Austria next week. Brad, thank you for joining us once again, mate. You've been terrific as per usual.
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate. Always a ball to call these alongside you. And I think with each week that we do, it's progressing. So, looking forward to next week in Austria. And Austria, another track that could potentially toss up some rain too. So
It's certainly
we'll
could,
have to
as
wait and see.
Julian says, sorry, had school. LOL, DRC Jared saying that's the greatest impression ever.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I'm very humble to it's very exciting to be able to do impressions for you.
And Big Shep says, one more Sam Newman impersonation. Well, I've got to say that I'll say to you, Shep, for everybody down there at the Beach Hut Brewery in Scoresby, Victoria, you're absolutely magnificent, aren't you? You're a fantastic bunch of blokes, and thank you very much for joining in. Well, there you have it, folks. Big Shep, Rafa, Jason, DRC Jared, our race winner tonight, Mozza, BK, King Julian, Rob Dog, the man whose birthday it is tomorrow. We are almost out of time. Happy birthday to you, Rob Dog, for tomorrow. Don't forget to join us. Delicious. That's right, Mozza. It's been great to have your company wherever you've been watching us right around the world. Don't forget, 8 p.m. next week, live and exclusive on the Kid Buyers channel. If you want to get involved, SRL, all the W's.srl.com.au, Xbox, PC, and PS4 leagues if you want to join us and be part of the action, or you can just listen to us. It's bye for now, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.